Hey, let's get started. Welcome, everyone. We're really pleased you could join us tonight. We have a great, esteemed lineup here led by Sean O'Sullivan and his team at SOSV. We thought it'd be a really great idea to gather all of you and the SOSV team to look at how startups are confronting the COVID-19 crisis. And it's my pleasure to gather this group, both the audience and the SOSV team, to have this discussion. And we want as much audience participation as possible. So if you could pose questions in the Q&A button, which is down right center, we'll try to answer all of your questions tonight, even if we have to go over time. And if we don't get to any of them as we review tonight's proceedings, we'll send you an email with our answers, so you won't be left out. So your participation is really important, and we welcome it. Alpha is a growth venture fund that works as an opportunity fund for many early stage funds like SOSV, and it's been our pleasure to be a co-investor with Sean, who I now am happy to introduce. So please welcome Sean O'Sullivan. He's gonna speak about his venture firm's response to COVID and introduce our other guests as we go along here tonight. And I'll join at the back half when we take questions from the audience. Sean, take it away, please.
Thank you very much, Brian. And it's great to work with Alpha Venture Partners. SOSV is a very early stage VC firm. We invest in about 150 new startups every year. We are entirely dependent on later stage firms as we run accelerators. We manage about $700 million in investment capital directly, but through the companies that we fund every year through the syndicate, like Alpha Venture Partners and others that have invest alongside us into the same companies that we back. We have, and Melanie has just joined us, and we actually get about $700 million invested per year, $700-800 million every year into the SOSV portfolios of companies, and so we have we called out. SOSV is about half of our staff, around 60 of our staff are in China. But even with that sort of advance warning, we were, I'd say, pretty much shocked with what's happened here with COVID-19 in the United States. So we started in March in working with our portfolio companies to try to get them some additional capital. We had a call for applications for COVID-19 companies that wanted to get started and funded, and we helped a number of our companies do some pivots and get them some additional capital. We earmarked around $20 million in funding just for the COVID-19 response of the companies that we're backing. And so we have launched a call for applications for a COVID-19 accelerator. Really, it's just on top of our existing IndieBio New York and IndieBio San Francisco accelerators, as well as our HAX accelerators. We got 160 applications, which we received and spoke with every one of those teams in 34 days and selected 8 of those companies for funding, giving them the first funding of about $250,000 each across a wide variety of different application areas, from therapeutics to diagnostics to disinfecting technologies to other hardware, robotics, etc. So on this call tonight, you'll see some real stars in the life sciences area. IndieBio, 3 companies that came out of IndieBio, Renegade Bio, which they'll describe what they do themselves better than I would. So I'll let them talk about what they do. Renegade, Casper, and Prellis are all on this call tonight, and 2 of those are diagnostics related companies. You can't tackle this disease. You don't want to, as Trump said, let this disease sort of wash over the United States before he I think, realized how terrible that would be, because of, as we've seen, it's been pretty horrendous. 0.23%, 0.23% of New York City is already dead, which is just such a shocking number. It's unimaginable. And we're looking at 2,000 deaths a day for the next couple of months, in all likelihood, if not higher, if the wave doesn't get worse. So what that means is we're probably looking at an infection fatality rate of somewhere between 1% and 2%. Our calculations are like 1.35% at least, if we don't have a better response. So what can we do as a better response? We can stop the genie from getting the genie's already out of the bottle, but what we can do is, stop it from getting to everyone. Social distancing has been doing a charm there. But we need to track, trace, and we need to have therapeutics that can help us survive the second wave. And many of us are still obviously going through the first wave. But if we were able to have some small molecule therapeutics, we have a couple of shots on goal there as well. Niclosamide and NMPD are things which are trying to reduce the viral load. Then it's very possible that we could end up with this actually going ahead and letting everyone get it infected, and because it won't be fatal or it won't produce the long time the impact of having this become a lifelong disability for many people. Also on this call, we'll be hearing later from Brad Higgins, who is an SOSV partner, who did get COVID-19 and was hospitalized, was in the ICU, and is now recovering. So he can speak to some of the impact of what it's like surviving COVID-19, and it is not easy. We also have backed a number of hardware companies. We'll actually turn the floor over to Craig next, but before I do, a couple of the hardware companies that we've backed, or other types of companies, we have a nanofiber material that allows N95 masks are good, 300 nanometer NAS. Of course, the coronavirus is like 100 nanometers, so it's even smaller, can go through those masks theoretically. And so one of our technologies blocks all viruses, and everything below 100 nanometers is actually blocked. So that's a new technology. We have other technologies, robotics companies for disinfecting and temperature sensing. We have monitoring systems for people who have pulmonary disabilities, et cetera. Liquid handling robots, Opentrons, is scaling very nicely to allow a lot of automated testing, and a number of other companies that we've backed. Now I'm going to turn it over to Craig, for Craig to give us a view as to how important a role the PCR-based testing is. Craig?